So we'll be discussing how to take care of our bodies and also the opportunities to make money from the health sector, because that sector has a lot of money.
Yes.
So we'll be discussing how we can tap into the opportunities that are in that area of health. Wellness is a process of learning about and engaging. You learn, then you engage in behaviors, a set of behaviors that are likely to lead to optimal health. And today, I have invited you to join me. We discuss about wellness and optimal health. Because here you cannot define wellness without health, likely to lead to optimal health. And all of us, honestly, that is our goal. We want eventually to get to optimal health. So what is optimal health? Health is complex. Health is not the absence of diseases or infirmity. Health is much bigger. And when it is optimal health, it's a whole balance of our lives. When you're operating at your best, I normally start talking about health from creation. I can see most of the names I'm getting here are Christians. And we who are Christians, we have one source of creation, which is the good book, the Bible. God created Adam and Eve as one. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27, when God used the spoken word, he said, let us create man in our image and in our likeness, so that we can have a complete set. That is in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27. But again, we see on Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, God used clay to mold a man. And then he blew his breath of life into the man he created from clay, and he became a living being. So we are human beings. We are not human doing. That is another mistake we do. We are not human doing. We are human beings. We are not human thinking. Let's get it clear, because we are having a lot of issues, mental issues nowadays, because we are not living our full life. So what I want us to discuss, and what we'll be doing in this forum, is to try to understand what God wanted us to be. What God wanted us to be. Yes, thank you very much for bringing this. So one of the things that I would want us to do as we go along is to ensure that we first and foremost, we understand human beings. Who are we as human beings? Because if we do not understand ourselves, we will not be able to take care of our body. We can only take good care of our body if we understand how God created us. Higher, God has created that man in Genesis 2, verse 7, from the clay, and he became a living being. This man, who was created by God, called Adam. Then God went on to create other animals, and he brought them to him to give them a name. The first assignment that God gave Adam was to give names to the other things that God created. If you continue reading Genesis chapter 2, you can see the series of activities that God had with Adam. But it says that Adam was not excited by all the things that God brought to him. So what did God do? He knocked off Adam and he went to a deep sleep. Then he removed one rib from him and molded the woman from that rib. And that man, when he was brought to Adam, Adam was very excited. He called him meat of my meat and bones of my bones. And Eve came in the picture. Fast forward, the persons that God created from Adam and Eve all the way to Noah, they lived for 900 plus years. One man called Methuselah outlived almost everybody else because he lived for 969 years. Big question. What is the difference between that man and ourselves? 969 years. There's something that I have always tried to figure out. What is it that made us change from living 900 years to what we are living today? By the way, our life expectancy has come down in a very big way. And this is a conversation that we'll be having throughout these talks. I have read the Bible in and out and front and backward. I saw that in Genesis 6:3, verse 3, when man sinned, you know what happened? If you continue reading Genesis, you'll see the persons that God created did not follow his rules. They changed and went into their own ways. So Genesis chapter 6, verse 3, God said that he will not let his spirit live in man forever. So 900 years by the way, that's a century. Those are so many years. So what God did, he reduced our lifespan from 900 years to 120. So Genesis 6 verse 3, it says that I will live for 120 years. But here is a catch. Are we living 120 years? And how many people are able to get to 120? This is something that I want us to discuss ourselves and agree so that we can be able to see what it is we are not doing well. And this is what I'll be basing my presentations on. What are we not doing the right way? And what should we do so that we can become people who are able to live to 120 years? This can happen to us. And the journey to optimal health talks is all about how we can reclaim our holistic wellness. Because in Azima, we normally say that your holistic wellness is our concern. Your holistic wellness is our concern. So this is one of the things that I want us to look into. We understand what it is that has made our life almost hell on earth, because we have not, especially the middle class, been living our life in full. We have not. The politicians, I don't know why. Why do politicians, I want now to, this is a conversation. I want you to tell me, why do politicians live longer than us? Politicians. Why do I say politicians? One Sir Charles Jonjo is now 102 years and he's still okay. He's still robust. 102 years. One Moody Awori is 93 years. He's still very okay. He's jogging and he's swimming. 93 years. One Queen Elizabeth is still in office and she's 95, 96 years. I think she will be 96 later this year. 96. And she's still executing her official role as the Queen of England. If you look at it from that angle, look at Moi. Moi was a man who lived a very active life and he lived to be 96 years. Tuangalia Nelson Mandela. Mandela was in prison for 27 years. 27. And he died at 94 years. Can you hear 90s, 90s, 90s? What is it that these people do better than we do for them to live those many years? This is a conversation that we want to have so that as we go along, we'll understand what we are not doing good and they are doing better than us, and we can also change and do the right thing so that we can live long and in optimal health. or we could say radiant health. We want to enjoy radiant health. I know there is a verse people like quoting in Psalms 90 that talks about our days are now 70 years. 80 is a bonus. But if you read through that text, it is a lamentations, lamenting that our life has become very difficult nowadays. We are not living long, and even when we live long, we're having a lot of problems. So the Bible has got different books written for different reasons to mirror different situations. And it is not God's talking. I have not, and if anybody of us have seen any verse in the Bible that came after when God said that our days will be 120, please point it out to me. I'm still reading the Bible. I have not read everything, but the ones I have come across is up to where God said you will be living at 120. And that is what Azima want to help you to live to. If you look at the Guinness Book of Record, again, people are living up to around 118, 117, 121, they're around there. So the 120, that is in Genesis chapter 6, verse 3, is happening. And that's my promise to you. I'll be helping us to see what we are not doing good. We start doing it so that we can live to be 120 in radiant health. In radiant health. So there's no point of living so long, but your life is just problems. In Azima, we do more of a entrepreneurship education. We do more of business training. We do more of money management. By the way, I came to do health because when I was working to help people to conserve their wealth, I realized, you can see what I am. Apart from being a mediator, I'm an entrepreneurship trainer. I train people how to do business. I've been in business for the last 35 years, active business. I have accumulated a lot of experiences doing that. So what I do is that I share with people my experiences. I help startups. I'm an angel investor and a venture capitalist. I'm also a business consultant. When I'm doing this work, and we have organized how you are going to manage your wealth to outlive you, because again, the good book also says that a good parent leaves inheritance to his children. That goes to the 4th generation. So I normally challenge people because I also do succession planning. I help people to do succession planning. The question is, what do you do to ensure that your wealth outlives you? That's what has been my biggest challenge. I found that one disease, just one disease, can come and wipe out all the money that you have made. So when I'm working with my team to prepare wealth, and when we prepare wealth, it goes with a disease, it frustrates the work that we are doing. So what I have done is to help people to work on themselves such that their wealth outlive them to go to the 4th generation. How do I do this? I do this by helping people to reorganize how they manage wealth and how they create succession processes. But now, if all that has been done, but then you die so early, what a waste. What a waste. And that's exactly what we'll be doing every Sunday from 4 to 6. Sunday is the first day of the week. After we have done our fellowshipping in the morning, we'll be meeting on this platform to discuss various things that are going to take us to an ideal situation where we live a long life, a long active life, a long and radiant life, because that is exactly what we want to do. Why me and why do I do this? Personally, I have lived it through because I was in the space where I was not living my life in full. I was obese, 3 times obese, by the way. I'm very short, by the way. Even if I'm standing, I am 5.4 in height, but I was operating between 95 kgs and 102 kgs. I was 3 times obese. So when I was turning 50, I went to my doctor, and after examination, he said something that became a hot breath shower to me. He told me that I am overloading an old car. So what happens when you overload an old car? For sure, it will collapse. So when I heard that, Jojo was turning 94 that time, and he had been brought in Kiss 100 by Caroline Motoko with one Mungari, Nyambane. And I asked myself, Azimio, you're only turning 50. Somebody is 94 years. That is 44 years ahead of you. Then I asked myself, what will I be doing for 44 years? And he was still okay. Now he has gone to 1 or 2 years. He's still okay. Then I realized that my life has not come to near close end. It is not even halfway. That time my last born was almost finishing school, and I was feeling like nimemaliza kazi yangu. Then I realized that there are a lot more that I can do with myself, and I decided to go to the gym. So I went to the gym. This is my personal gym in my house. When I was doing my house, I did a gym, and I was not using it. I was 96, 8 kgs that time, and I was getting overweight when I still had a gym. I called my trainer. He came and took me through. Then we organized, he was making a program for me, leave, then come again on the weekend to see what I have done. And we go on the weighing scale and see what I have done. Brought in my nutritionist. He gave me the diet that I'm supposed to be consuming, and I followed both consistently. That's why I say wellness is the process of learning about. I learned about it. Then I engaged in a change of lifestyle and behaviors that I did consistently, and I reduced my weight from 98 kgs to 60 kgs. You can now see this contrast, my before and my after. My before and my after. So I did this, and I can say that the journey was not easy, but uzuri, it happened. This is now 9 years ago, and I have maintained to keep the weight away. I started hiking. You can see now, when I was my before, even stairs was a problem. Stairs. I used to like lift, where there's a lift, but not climbing. I used to pant when I'm hiking, when I'm going up the stairs. So I used to wait for the lift. Kama hakuna stima, hiyo ni shida. But now when I brought my weight down, I got a lot of energy. And with that energy, I started hiking. You can now see me celebrating that I have hacked it. So you too can do this. And since that time, I have remained a very active life. I have done major mountains. By the way, it's only Everest I have not done, and I will be going there after COVID. I've done Mount Kilimanjaro 7 times. I've done Mount Kenya 5 times. I've done Mount Ruwenzori. I've done Mount Meru. I've done Mount Elgon. I've also done Swiss Alps, and have done American Rockies. I've done Aconcagua in Peru. I have done hiking in many countries, including Japan, South Korea. And yes, I keep hiking. I like hiking because I have a lot of energy. And it came in when I already had finished my kulea watoto, and I would not go for another wife and other children. So what did I do? I use my energy now to do hiking. So I normally tell you that, yes, do not wish for a good body. What do you do to get a good body? Do like I did. Work for it. Work for it. Work on yourself. So when you work on yourself, you will become what you want to become. So I want to encourage everyone here today, if you want to change your life, feel encouraged. I did it. You too can do it. And I can assure you that my life nowadays has become very good. I'm doing many things nowadays and I like what I do. But as I continue, I like giving a cautionary statement. I am not a motivation speaker. Get that clear. I am not an inspiration speaker, neither am I a motivation speaker. Not that there's anything wrong with them. Motivation speakers, they speak to the heart and they tell people what they want to hear. They are like diplomats. So diplomats will not tell you directly what is not right. I am not in that realm. I tell you direct. I'm not a comedian. I am not an entertainer either. But I try to use humor to inspire my audience to dream big. Because if you're not dreaming, by the way, you're not going anywhere. Because everything starts with the mind. Dream big. And dreaming big and dreaming small takes the same energy. So if you have to dream, surely, you better dream big. So I help people to manifest their dreams. But above all, I am a holistic wellness champion. And welcome, so that we can now be able to roll and have this process going. Today is the first day that we are having this session of Azima Business Talks on Zoom. And I would want us to go through the introduction so that we can see where we were. We talked about God creation. Let me see. I want us to see how evolution, how we have evolved. Because when you talk of God created Adam, I would want to see what Adam was like. How did he look like? Let's go to the evolution, because the first man was not upright like we are. Look at this. People have gone through this evolution. The first man was on fours. You remember the caveman? The Stone Age man? And we have gone through all this evolution. He had a lot of fur on the body. He did not need clothes. He was not upright. But by and by, we've been evolving and evolving and evolving. Now you can see the executive that we are. The basic needs of the first man, Adam and Eve, all the way to the man who were not wearing clothes, were not the same. Big question. What were the basic needs of that man? And what is the difference between them and us? So the first segment of this conversation, I want us to go through the main body needs. So this body that God gave us is a complex system. By the way, our body is the most complex single unit ever made to ever grace the face of the earth. Our body. Why? Our body is made up of 100 trillion cells. 100 trillion cells. Living cells. Those 100 cells make together 78 organs. And these 78 organs, they work in systems, 11 systems that help the body to operate. And these systems are powered by certain needs, certain requirements, which we call basic needs, that we all must have. What is the first requirement of the body? I want to go to the chat box and tell me what is the first requirement of the body so that we can be able to go together. So what it is that the body requires for it to move and operate. We all know that we require energy to move. Oxygen. Oxygen. The first requirement of the body is oxygen. Or fresh air. So one of the things that we'll be going through in this segment is to discuss what air our body requires for it to operate optimally and what oxygen does in the body. How much of oxygen do we require for our body to operate in an optimum way? How long can you survive without oxygen? What causes hypoxia? Hypoxia is having less oxygen in your blood. You've had many people who have got COVID. When they go to hospital, they get to a level that they are being fed with oxygen. And those cases have increased. Even before COVID, I had relatives who were getting a machine to help them breathe. So our system is not able to supply enough oxygen to the body systems. And that condition of not getting enough oxygen is called hypoxia. So the question is, we'll be discussing in details what causes hypoxia. So if you have had any of your relative, maybe you have gone to hospital, unaona anawekwa oxygen, or even at home, nowadays people are buying a concentrator machine and is giving people oxygen. We'll be discussing of that. What does lack of oxygen do? Lack of oxygen affects the brain. And the brain is higher center because it is the one that controls all the other functions in your body. So how can you ensure that your brain receive adequate oxygen anytime, all the time? Anytime, all the time. This is very critical. And you cannot talk of wellness or optimal health if you have not taken any of it. No, these days there's a lot of pollution. Pollution actually is having more of carbon dioxide than oxygen. Oxygen comes from plants. Remember, God created Adam and Eve and put them in a garden, not in a city. God could have mentioned, let there be a city. And the city would have come. A very better city than what you have built. But he put them in a garden. Why? Because we coexist. We breathe out carbon dioxide. Plants use carbon dioxide to produce food. And when photosynthesis is taking place, it gives as a byproduct oxygen. So oxygen comes from plants. So when we are staying in a bush, in an area with vegetation, we get fresh oxygen, which is very important to us. So oxygen, we'll be going deep into it and understand what it is and what it means, what it does to our body, and how we can get adequate thing. So number 2, what is the next most important thing to our body? Your guess is as good as mine. Water. Yes, water. And I will be mentioning this in the order of priority. The first one is oxygen. You can't stay for more than 3 minutes without oxygen. You'll die. Yes, you will die. The next one is water. 70% of our body is water. 70%. Our cells, the 100 trillion cells, are surrounded by water. We cannot have cells without water. All the body organs survive in or on water. Blood, which is actually the carrier material. It's the one that transports everything in the body. Even oxygen is transported by blood to the organs. Food, nutrients transported by blood. Digestion requires water. You can imagine how you can eat without water because saliva amylase that helps to break down food from the mouth. It makes it slippery to swallow. Through the gullet, it goes to the stomach, then duodenum, then small intestines, large intestines, everything. Can you imagine how it can be without water? Water is critical in the body. It helps in the transportation of both the requirements and also to carry away the waste, metabolic waste. Even sweating, how do you sweat? Because sweating is very important in the body. So how will you sweat if you do not have water? Because sweating is water. Tears have got a role they play in cleaning up your eyes. It's water. So how do we get this water? Do you know the formula of how much water you should take per day? Simple. Your weight, your body weight. You know, we have different weights. Divide that by 9. For every 9 kgs, you're supposed to take 1 glass of water. So whatever weight you are, divide that by 9 and take those number of glasses. Some people say that you're supposed to take 8 glasses, but the question is, when I was 98 kgs and when I was 60 kgs, would I be taking the same water? The answer is no. The answer is no. So the relationship between water and your weight is very clear. Your weight divided by 9, you get the number of glasses of water you should take. And we'll be doing more on this as we go along because this is critical. Number 3. Number 3. So what comes? Water is life. We use water in many other areas. All our needs, apart from the drinking water, we need water for other activities. And you see, we make beverages. You know, it's cold. You want to take hot beverages. It is hot. You want to get something cold. They're healthy and unhealthy beverages. You need to be very careful here. Don't be taking those sugared water, and you call them they are beverages. They are not healthy. So you need to know what you are taking and in what condition. So you choose wisely what you use to hydrate your body, because some of the waters are actually poison. I have got an example here that you can choose from, which can give you the choices of the kind of waters that you can take. So these are some of the way that you choose. You know, water is either alkaline or acidic. Alkaline or acidic. The alkaline waters are the best. So which water is alkaline? And which water is acidic? Which should you take and which should you avoid? We'll be breaking this down one by one in a good way, and I'll be showing you how to choose. Even when you go to the supermarket and you're buying mineral water. Mineral water, by the way, there is on the label. I get very disappointed because when I engage people and I ask them what parameter they use to choose which water to take to buy in a supermarket or in a kiosk or in those convenience shops that are in petrol stations, people buy the name, but they don't even read the analysis that is on the bottle of the mineral water. But again, even if they read, they don't know what it means. They don't know what percentage is healthy and what is not healthy. This now bring me to Hosea 4, verse 6. My people perish for lack of knowledge. So we'll be talking about that in detail and unpacking what it is that we need to know and also do. Because remember what I said about wellness, the process of learning about. So learning. You must learn first. Then you engage so that you can be able to get optimal health. So after water, what next? What comes after water? Yes, sleep is number 3. Sleep is number 3. I'm mentioning this in the order of merit. Point is, we all must sleep. By the way, God made it that we must sleep for a third of this 24-hour cycle. Why do we have to sleep every day? Because if you don't sleep, like today, since the time you woke up, if you went more than 16 hours before you sleep, you start dozing. Sleep is so important that even if you don't sleep, the body will demand it. The body will demand it. And when it demands it, you will have to sleep because you start dozing. God made our complex body in a way that it must switch off every 24 hours to repair and rejuvenate. If you do not willingly switch off, the body will demand it and you start dozing off. And this is one of the things that is causing many accidents because the drivers, because of not sleeping enough at night, what do? They sleep when they're driving. Their judgment is altered by accumulation of sleep. Never deny yourself sleep. And sleep is just not sleeping, not going to bed. You need to be dead asleep. You switch off. Because there are certain activities that goes on in your body when you switch off to sleep. We'll be discussing in depth about sleep. How much sleep do you require? and what are the best times to sleep. So these are things that I will be working on as we go along in this segment, because we need to understand what God gave us to take care of, because God made us in his own image and likeness so that we can be able to take care of the body, because our body is not ours. Again, Paul said it very well in 1 Corinthians 6, that our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. Temple of the Holy Spirit. Those of us who are Catholics, you know, Catholics believe in the Holy Trinity. God the Father, no doubt, is God. God the Son, no doubt, is Jesus. God the Holy Spirit now comes in the issue of our body being the temple of the Holy Spirit. So we need to take care of the Holy Spirit, the temple of the Holy Spirit. And how do we do that? You must understand how this is done. It is not the quality, it's not the quantity of this sleep that is important. The quality of sleep counts more than the length of the time that you are sleeping. And the time, we'll be talking about this. There's what we call the circadian rhythms. The setup, you know, the body has got its own clock, circadian clock. I'll be unpacking this in more details so that you can see how it plays out. Next, after sleep, what is the next most important thing after sleep? I'm not seeing anything on the chat box. I would want you to be going to the chat box and what is your feeling about this, because I want us to have a conversation. So what is the next most important thing about our body? Yes, what gives our body energy? What gives the body energy? Can you put off? Can you please mute? Can you please mute your camera? Sorry, you put your mic. Put your mic so that we do not hear your noise. Allow me to be the one speaking. Can bring in the food. Huawei 19, tafadhali. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Now, after sleep, next, the further one, most important. Yes, food. Food. You cannot live without food. You can't, you'll die. So, number 1 is oxygen. Number 2 is water. Number 3 is sleep. You can stay for many days without food, by the way. Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Jesus. Muhammad also fasted. People fast for many reasons. And fasting is good, by the way. It's very healthy. If you don't do it, please do. It does a lot of good to your body. You can stay for a longer duration without food than without water. Yes, you can. Because food, what it does, it gives people with the body nutrient and energy. What the body also does is that when you take more, it converts what it is not using into fat and store it. So when you you don't take food, the body will convert fat that is in its reserve to give the body energy. So you can stay, by the way. People have stayed very many days without food. Water is more important than food in terms of life longevity, but we must eat to live because the body requires many nutrients. We'll be looking into that. We'll go to it in deep. What kind of foods give? No, we have got different kind of foods. We have carbohydrates, carbs, starch that gives body energy. We have got proteins. Proteins are the bodybuilding type of food. We have vitamins and minerals. So we'll be looking at all that in detail. Then we also see how much of each do you require. And it is not just the lack of that is a problem. We also, when you have too much of it, also is another problem. We sleep for 8 hours. We are awake for 16 hours. I said a third. So in those 3 times, in those 16 hours, we eat 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and supper. So if you divide, those are every 5 hours. Every 5 hours. The time of eating is very important. We'll be talking to that why. There's this what we call, the Chinese have come up with a very good model of how the body operates, and Chinese do very good work. Circadian rhythm is what determines what you should do when, and it has a circadian clock. Every 2 hours, the body has got a certain area that it focuses on. So if you want to do your daily plan, your 24-hour plan, use this. And I will be talking much to it so that you can understand how it works, when you should go to sleep and when you should wake up, when you should eat food and when you should not eat food, when you should go for exercise, when you should actually out there working out, and when you should not. All that you do should be regulated, because this body we were given by God to take care of. And it's the reason why politicians and the rich people are living much longer than us. Manu Chandaria is now 91 years and he's still very robust. Angalia, Mama Sarah Obama. When Obama came in, and that guy has helped Umira Kagere. When Obama came on board, and Sarah Obama became a star, she was managed well by the experts, and she lived to be 99 years. Yes. So this thing is possible. You too can live long in good health. For optimal health, all our activities should align with the body's internal settings. So we'll be looking at how you plan your meal cycles, and what kind of food do you eat? What is your plate? How should your plate be like? This is critical, because if you do not know even what you're supposed to be eating and how you should plan your meal, you will not be able to reflect the kind of life that you need. So look at this. Look at this. We normally say that 50% of your plate should be vegetables. 50%. Then the other 50, it should be protein and carbohydrates. And they should be whole grain. Why whole grain? Because they release energy in a slow motion. When you eat sifted, what happens that once the food lands into the stomach, it is converted quickly into glucose. It is spike. Then within no time, it crash. The spiking and crashing of the saturation of glucose is the one that leads to diabetes. And these are things that we'll be discussing in depth, and we understand them in a better way. God gave each of us 24 hours in a day. So when we are awake for 16 hours, every 5 hours you should take something. Don't also stay for so long without having something to eat. Don't snack between meals. Avoid snacking in between meals. Why? Because anytime that you have food that got to the stomach, the body system, once it notices that something has come in, it is focused on digestion. Because the stomach does not hold food, by the way. It's a clearing and forwarding facility. So the moment food has hit the stomach, what the body does is that it releases digestive enzymes. And what are these enzymes? They are chemicals. In fact, hydrochloric acid, HCl, is one of the digestive enzymes that the body releases. So when it is always releasing it, and it actually has a lot of effect on the body. You can agree with me that after a heavy meal, you normally feel like dozing. Why? Why do you feel like dozing after a heavy meal? Because of the effect of the acid that has been released to go and break down the food. So it is advisable to not be eating all the time, because anything that you put in the stomach, the body it will be digesting. The only thing that you should actually take more freely is water, because water is not metabolized. But anything else that is metabolized, it has an effect. But we'll be looking into that in more details, and we see what we can do. Do you have and follow a meal plan? Do you have a meal plan? Do you snack in between meals? And do you know the metabolic effect of snacking? Do you? I'm asking you that question. I would like to know if you do. If you don't, I'll be telling you. So I want to know what you know and what you don't know so that I'm able to advise you in the right way. So we'll be going deeper into these issues and we look into them so that we are able to see what it is that you can do and do it right. Because remember, I defined wellness as process of learning about and behaving in doing in the right way and consistently. You must do the right way and consistently. So we will be looking into that and see where it takes us. Next, the type of food, the amount, and the timing of meals have a bearing on your physique. When you eat, look at these two people. I don't know which one are you. Which one are you? Your breakfast will be the largest meal of the day. Look at the guy on the right side, the one with a big chest and a small waist. He takes his breakfast as the heaviest meal in the day. I know most of us take, most of you, not me, I'm not there. By the way, most people take snacks in the morning. Anakula chai ama uji with a bread or ngwashe, and anasema hiyo ni breakfast. That cannot be the biggest meal of the day, my brothers and sisters. No, it is not. It is not. In fact, most people take snacks in the morning, then lunch and nakula light, like in the evening, they eat the heaviest meal of the day. What happens? Your body does not need energy to sleep. So what does it do? It stores the supper you take as fat. It converts and stores as fat. And that is why you balloon. That's what was happening to me when I was 98, 102. There's a day I was at 102. I didn't know. I was perishing because of lack of knowledge. And that's why I said I'll be sharing this information with other people so that they get the advantage that I got when it came to know. So if you want to improve your body shape and your physique, you need to change the time you eat and how much you eat and exercise and many other things. So there's a combination of many factors. We'll be doing that together and see where you go. And we normally say in Azima, eat like your life depends on it, because it does. Your life depends on how you eat. Food is very critical. So you do it, you better do it right. So this is one of the things that we teach people, and I'll be taking you deeper and deeper in the area of food, nutrition, and what you should eat, not eat, how much of it, and how to combination also, because how you combine food also matters. So we'll be getting to that. And from there now, we go to a big one, exercise. Exercise. Again, this is another thing that is putting us down. Why are we dying early? Why are we getting lifestyle diseases? Living a sedentary lifestyle. Yes, we have heard this mentioned many times. Movement is the fifth most important activity to support our complex body. God gave us a responsibility to assist the body complete certain functions that he put to keep the body operating optimally. Exercise helps the body inhale adequate oxygen. You know, when you start exercising, you start breathing faster. Even breathe with your mouth, not just your nose. There's more exchange of oxygen when you are exercising than when you are seated. But don't exercise in a place that you don't have fresh air, because you should always make sure the body can only breathe the air around where you are. So if you are in a polluted environment, what will happen is that your body will be inhaling that polluted air around that area. And it is going to mess up your respiratory system. Remember, COVID is a respiratory disease. If you compromise your respiratory system, then when you get attacked, chances of surviving becomes a problem. Exercise powers the lymphatic system, which, unlike blood, has no pump. What does the lymphatic system do to the body? It eliminates toxins, but it does not have a pump like heart that pumps blood. So it is pumped by exercise. Never sit like I'm doing for more than 2 hours. After 2 hours, you wake up. And that's why in Azima Academy, we don't have any session that go for past 2 hours. After 2 hours, have a break. And you can see how the organized society is arranged. You get to a meeting or to a class at 8, at 10 there's tea break. 2 hours to 10, tea break. Then you come back after tea break, another 2 hours you go for lunch. In the afternoon, you go again at 2, and by 4, another break. So the systems have been arranged in such a way that it supports that process because it's scientific. Don't sit down for too long because you are missing other areas of the body that you are not understanding. Exercise helps in elimination of toxins through sweating and exhalation. You cannot attain optimal health if you live a sedentary lifestyle. So we'll be working on that and see what it is that we can do better, because honestly, we are not going to get optimal health if we do not take care of that. And we have to work together to get this happening. I have advised you to take a health break after every 2 hours, especially nowadays that we are working on the computer workstations. Take a 5-minute stroll around your place to allow blood circulation, to allow the lymphatic system to do its work. Exercise strengthens the cardio and skeletal muscles. Muscles are very important, by the way. We'll be doing all this because we'll actually go to know thyself. We'll break down the physiological system of the body, the skeleton, the muscular skeletal body. We'll go to the inner organs and see how they work and how you can do about them. Because if you don't know, you know, do it. What make them deteriorate? What strengthen them? How you should do it? What they support? What support them? So we'll be looking at all that and their role that they play to give you optimal health. I'm very concerned because we have moved to working on our desk, especially now that some people are working from home. You wake up in the morning, you don't even travel the way you travel to go to work. You are just in the house, you sit down much of the day, and in the evening, you don't even go for any exercise. This is dangerous. So we'll be looking at that in details, and we see what we need to do, how to do it, and also when. And after that, we have got sunshine. Sunshine. Do you get sunshine, by the way? Because this is also very serious. Very, very serious. We are along the equator. But I want to say this. The records tells us that most of the people who are going for checkups, they have got vitamin D deficiency. Vitamin D deficiency. Can you imagine this along the equator? Why? Because you are staying indoors through the day. You do not get vitamin D by looking across your window and seeing sunshine. You need to allow the sun rays to land on your skin so that the cholesterol that is on your skin with sunshine, they manufacture vitamin D. And vitamin D is very critical. It aids in calcium absorption, calcium and magnesium absorption. Calcium is important for the bones, blood cells, and it boosts your immune system. You remember when COVID came, people were being advised to go out and have moments in sunshine. Very important. So do you do it? You can see, this is the way I do my sunshine. That's me doing my 30-minute sunshine. I'm happy that we are working from home now. Before I used to get sunshine, nusu too, because I have got a shirt. I used to remove my jacket, but go out. But you see, when you're at work, you cannot be able to get your skin exposed for sunshine. We say that you expose 70% of your skin to the sun rays so that you can get maximum. For 15 minutes, when you do 70%. When it's 50%, get it 30%, 30 minutes or more than that, because it's not enough. Just getting very small exposure to sunshine. If you're dark skinned like us, black people, you can get more. But people who have got a lighter skin, like Wahindi, Waarabu, Wazungu, they don't have the advantage that we have because of skin pigmentation. They normally get sun-tanned. So you need to know that, and you can use whatever required, but also make sure that you use the health one. So it is not everyone who should expose their skin for so long on sunshine, especially along the equator. So take a bit of care. Now, the sunshine, we have got the big one. Rest. Rest. So what is rest? It's very critical in the body. We take it for granted. When I was working, when I was employed, we used to make fun that, okay, we are doing much of the work in the office is mental. But during my leave, I go and even do more difficult work because I come from Oranga. I remember I used to go for leave in December. December is the time that we used to harvest coffee. And when I go home during my leave, I was doing more difficult work than what I do in the office. So was I resting? Is that rest really? So it was a problem. And rest is much more than sleeping. You know, there is the rest that God rested on the seventh day. You, Jatosha, HR. Any HR in the house, everybody who is employed is supposed to get 21 days of leave. I'm talking about that leave, that long leave of absence. We take a break and rest during the weekend, which is good, but it's not enough. It's during the annual leave that we have proper rest. Rest is a weapon given to us by God. The enemy hates it because he wants you stressed and occupied throughout. Elizabeth Elliot said this, and it's very critical, and I agree with her, because if you do not rest enough, you get stressed. And stress is not managed, leads to depression. Depression is becoming a very big issue. Mental issues have become a big problem. Many people have been taken down by it. Many people are actually suffering from a depression. And what are the causes? We'll be looking into that more deeper as we go along. So keep tuned, and we'll be looking into this. So after rest, what else will you be looking into? And what else is critical in our body? Spirituality. Spirituality. What is this spirituality, by the way? And spirituality is not religion. It's different from religion. Prayer and meditation have the ability to bolster your immune system. This is according to scientific studies. It doesn't matter what you believe, as long as you have a daily prayer ritual of some sort. And even a simple walk in nature can trigger this positive effect. So spirituality is deep. We'll be talking about it, your belief systems, the way you relate with other people, the way you relate with the super being, even those atheists. Because there are people who are atheists. Well, I don't judge them. Don't judge them. They will have their time with God. But for you, what you need to do is to at least make sure that you have allowed your spiritual being its space. We were made by there as a spirit. The person created by God in Genesis 1:26 and 27 was a spirit. Let us make man in our own image and likeness. It's the man that was built by God in Genesis 2:7 who had a physical body. And even when you die, you know, what leaves the body, by the way? Can you go to the chat box? This one I'll not answer for you. I want to see what you say. When a person dies, there's a separation. What is separated? What leaves the body? Because we bury the body. There's a soul and the spirit. So what leaves the body? So I want to see if I am communicating and if you're on the same page, because these are things that we need to understand from this stage, so that as we go deeper, we will be unpacking things that are having a deeper meaning to us. It does not matter what you believe. The choice is yours. After spirituality, what else will you be discussing next? Commune with nature. Commune with nature. Science is proving that exposure to nature can increase or reduce stress. Stress, excessive stress, lead to depression. The fact that we are not getting enough time with nature, by the way, our body communicates with natural environment, especially plants. The difference between our blood and chlorophyll that is in plants, it's very small, by the way. There are only two issues which are different: chlorophyll and blood. And that's why we take juice. Juice is very good for your body. And you'll be going to that. When you're doing detox, you use juice, especially when you use juice from plants which are organic, not the ones grown with chemicals. Chemicalized plants have got the effect. If grown in an environment that is polluted, they have their effect on you. But if you can get green plants and you juice them and you take it at the right time, in the right temperature, soon after you remove them from the plants, because again, when you allow oxidation, it affects them. We'll be looking at all that in deep so that you can know what to do and how to do it. It is not by chance that Jojo is 102 and is still okay. Mudiawari is 94 and is still okay. Queen Elizabeth, it's not by chance that she is 96 and still in office. These people who have money, they have got nutritionists who take care of them. They have doctors, they have everything. Their things are done in a better way than we do ours kienyeji. So we'll be looking into that and see what we need to do better so that we can live a longer life. What you see, hear, or experience at any moment affects your mood. Yes, affects your mood. You need to go somewhere you can also hear the sound of birds chirping. When last did you hear birds chirping? I want you to tell me this. When do you get time to expose yourself in nature? Don't tell me that where you say there are no forests. If you're in Nairobi, you have no excuse. Nairobi is the green city under the sun. Oh yes, the green city under the sun. But I respect the founders of Nairobi because they gifted us a city like no other. A city like no others. I tell people who are in the CBD or around CBD that if you want to commune with nature, you don't need any money. Our parks are free. Before we got Michuki Park, going to City Park, which is 90 acres of forest land, is just a walking distance, forest road. Umeingia City Park. Arboretum. From university, pale roundabouts, halls of residence. Just past the hall of residence in a university. That's where Arboretum started. That's another 60 acres. 60 acres. My brothers, if you're in the Langata side, you have got the Gong Road Forest. That is 1,900 acres of virgin forest. It was 3,000. They have stolen more than 1,000 acres. But let's not cry about what has been stolen. We still have almost 2,000 acres in Gong Road Forest. And we have got Olorua Forest, which is 250 acres of virgin forest land. Yes. Then next to it, we have got Gataka Forest and Olorua Forest Conservancy. On the other side, we have got Kibiko Forest. Hello? All these forests in Nairobi, surely. Then we have got parks. Even parks are good enough. And you have got private ones. like Botanical Garden in Langata. We have got Giraffe Center. And we also have got a very good forest on our national park. By the way, do you know Nairobi is the only city with a national park? Not game reserve. In fact, some cities have got zoos. They have animals in a zoo. Like in Nairobi, we have got a game park in the city. Hello, nani kama sisi. Tuko sawa. Then look at the golf courses that we have in Nairobi. And we also have got clubs, members club, like Parklands Sports Club. We have got Royal Nairobi Club. We have got Civil Servants Club. We have got Jeffries Club in this city. Hello, what are you telling me? We have many of them, and golf clubs from Odaiga. Hey, hello, we have many. Sisi tuko sasawa. Karura Forest is 2,500 acres. Karura Forest. Wangari Maathai did a very good job, and may God rest her soul in peace. She really fought to protect Karura Forest. It's just next to City Park. And you see the rich people, the way they like themselves. Wow. And being rich is good. You can see people in Muthaiga, they have the forest around them. Yes, Nairobi Safari Walk. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. This is very good. I can see we are communicating. So I'm saying that in Nairobi, you have no excuse not to. So you need to know what is good for your body and commune with nature. Do it. Then in Azima, we do hiking. We do hike every third Saturday of the month. We go take people out to hike. Gong Hills, it's just next to Nairobi here. You just get on the matatu. It's 100 bob from city center. Then you come and you get to the Gong town, you go to the DC's place, you start hiking. You can hike all the way to Kiserian side, or you go and come back. You hike and there's a forest, but it's very good. You'll get sunshine, you'll get exposure to nature, you'll enjoy sightseeing, and you'll exercise. All this in Nairobi. Hello, what else do we need? It is only that we are not aware. People perish because of lack of knowledge. And this is why I decided I will be championing this to let people know that you can do much more than what you are doing. And after communing with nature, there's still more that you need to do. We go to temperance. What is this temperance? Temperance is moderation or voluntary self-restraint. You restrain yourself. Restraining yourself from overindulgence. Don't overindulge on anything. You do not, if you do not strike a balance in your life, it's going to affect you in many ways. Even the things that you like most. Don't oversleep, please. Don't. But do you know you cause your body more harm by oversleeping than not sleeping enough? Yes, it does. Don't take more water than what is required. Why? You'll get water intoxication when you take more water than you're supposed to take. True. Do not overindulge on anything. If you take more food, you're going to balloon. In fact, the reason why I had become 3 times obese was eating more than I needed. Anything that you overdo has an effect on you. Even when you're having fun, don't overdo it. Temperance. Temperance is very important. So these are things that are critical in our body. Living in an unpleasant environment can lead to anxiety, sadness, or helplessness. This may elevate your blood pressure, heart rate, and muscle tension. It can also suppress your immune system. We'll be talking about boosting our immunity, and we'll be talking more of this because COVID has been very unkind to people who have compromised the immune system. That's why you see some people, when they get hit by COVID, they have to go to admission. Some go up to ICU. They are given oxygen, ventilators. I got COVID in October last year. My wife got it, my daughter got it. We stay in the house, 3 of us. We all got COVID. But we just did it in the house. I am giving you this because I learned, and they worked for me. They can also work for you. So if you follow the ideas that we are sharing here, I can assure you, and share with another person. Please don't keep it to yourself. Mayas Munro said, die empty. Die empty. Don't go to enrich the grave. I said that the information that I have, I will share it with other people so that it can enrich them. I will not enrich the grave with the information that I have. A pleasing environment can reverse all these symptoms, can reverse. What is a pleasing environment? We'll be looking into that in more details to see what it is that we can do to improve ourselves. So we are making sure that we get knowledge and we practice in the right way. Then, after temperance, body requirement, we have detoxification and elimination. This is a process that the body must do. You know, the way God made our body is such that we have a role to play to complete the process of detoxification and elimination. For example, our metabolic system has a process that it collects the waste, the residues, both the water, and deposit them in the bladder. You must walk into the washroom to empty the bladder. You must do it. Some people, when they feel that they are pressed, wanafunga. Hapana funga, please, 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 please. Just go to the washroom and release, because your role is just to empty the bladder. The same case happened in the bowels. The body will collect the waste and deposit them in the bowel. So you are supposed to go to the washroom and empty it. God made the systems working in us to maintain optimal health in a very good way. Then he gave us a role to complete that process. And the example that is given here is that the body has an automatic way to filter and expel metabolic waste and toxins. And they are deposited in the right places for expulsion. If you don't expel them, what the body will do is that it will start reabsorbing the toxins that had been isolated for expulsion. So your role is to ensure that you do not overstay. And it has got hormones that tells you that your bladder is full, you need to go to the washroom. Your rectum is full, you want to go and empty the bowels. So you have some communications. So listen to your body. It's always communicating with you. It's always communicating with you. And that's why it's good to do fasting and detoxing so that you can be able to communicate clearly with your body. Our role kicks in when the body has done its part. So if you do not visit the washroom as many times as you eat, if you eat 2 meals in a day, 2 meals, heavy meals, you should also be able to experience two bowel movements. Yes, if you are not, you are constipated. Constipated. What is constipation? We'll be looking into that in more details, and we see what effects it has in our health and why we are living at the most 70 years. And if you live past that, ni shida tu. We are in hospital all the time. The lymphatic system requires physical movement to support it to work efficiently. Yes, This explains why a sedentary lifestyle leads to deterioration of our health. Deterioration of our health. So don't allow your body to stay sedentary. Refuse to live a sedentary lifestyle. So after elimination and detoxification, when you sweat, you are detoxifying. So when you are doing exercise and you sweat, when last did you sweat, by the way? Can you go to the chat box and tell me, when last did you sweat? Ile sweat, not because of light. Unajua kuna wakati mwingine pia unastuka na mambo zingine una sweat. Kale ka sweat, thin, kale ka thin sweat. Not that one. Sweating because of working out. That's the one that I want to know. When last did you sweat? Bring me on this so that we can be able to communicate and we work together. Then after detoxification and elimination, we have, yes, the big one, reproduction. Reproduction. No, God made it in such a way that we have, thank you very much, Martin. Yes, you are come from the gym you mentioned. So you are good. How many other people? Let me see others. Let's actually communicate here, because some people never make time for working out. There's a lot of good that you do to your body when you sweat. Reproduction. God is a master engineer. He made every animal and set a system for them to reproduce and multiply. Very, very efficient for continuity. Human beings reproduce through copulation. It is our responsibility to keep the human race growing. But there's something that is very serious that is happening now. And I want us to discuss this one today. This one we are going to discuss. How are you playing your role in this area? In enhancing the human race. Do you know, if you are two of you, you and your wife, or you and your husband, you marry, then you just get 2 children. Have you increased the human race? Because if you're just replacing yourself, you just replace you. You are 2 and you get 2 children. Tumeongezeka kweli. I want us to agree here, because I don't want us to get to the place that China is in now. But then China is having a problem because they had a policy of 1 child per couple. So the population started going down, because when you die, when me and my wife die, and we have 2 children, we have not increased the population. What we have done is just maintained. So when you are sitting down to plan a family, ask yourself, are we increasing or are we decreasing? This is serious. And there are so many diseases that COVID has taken many people. We have got a road accident taking many people last week. This week, by the way, no, it's last week because today is Sunday, the first day. I was burying very young people in their 20s, an accident on Thika Road. We lost 3 of them. I buried my cousin who's called Azimio like me on 15th of this month. No, August. Then the mother died. When the mother heard of her sons passing away, she got in a shock, but she didn't recover. We also buried her. I had so many funerals in the course of August. So many. So the question is, how do we replace those people who are dying? It's by giving birth. But are we playing our role to enhance the human race? Are we growing it? What should we do? So these are some of the things that we need to discuss, and we get it moving. So we'll be looking into this deeply and ask ourselves, how can we do things better? Because my people perish because of lack of knowledge. My declaration is that people will not perish for lack of knowledge that I have. I repeat, people will not perish for lack of knowledge that I have. I will use the knowledge that God has revealed to me to be able to help more people. live a better life. And these are information that we can be able to share with many people across the board. We want to make it very easy, practical. It's nothing complicated. Don't tell me that you're not a doctor. I'm neither a doctor also. I'm not a medical doctor, though I have a background in science. So I have decided that one of the things that we'll do is to break it down to the common person so that can be able to understand what it is that we need to do, what we are not doing right. I want us to grow it so that our lives thrive. We don't just want to exist, we want to thrive. And these are issues that we can all share, and we can do what needs to be done to be able to live in thrive. With evolution, our needs have slightly changed. Because those 12 are the basic needs. Basic needs, a must have. But now life has been changing. We have seen from the caveman up to today's man who is using tech gadgets like we do. Our lives have changed. So we have got foundational needs and we have got aspirational needs. Before, Maslow classified them as needs and wants. Needs and wants. But today, some so-called then wants have become needs. I normally call them aspirational needs. Aspirational needs. Why? The first man did not need shelter. Neither did he need clothing. Energy, they were eating raw food. There was no education that time. They didn't have internet, so they didn't know that there is importance for having bundles and Wi-Fi. So you can see now, this pyramid have put together the things that we need in today's life that you cannot do without them. We all agree that we need shelter. We cannot live in the forest like we used to do before. And house is a basic need nowadays. Or so be it. Well, there are different kind of houses, so it depends on what kind of a house, but we can't live outside. Not anymore. Even our skin cannot. Then they used to. We cannot go back to the caves. We can't. We cannot be. You see, like, if you read Genesis chapter 3, you'll see that God, when after Adam and Eve, no, it's Eve and Adam. Eve first, then Adam ate the fruit. And they realized they were naked. God is the one who made clothes for them to cover their nakedness. The only place they were covering was the naked part. But nowadays you have got a booming fashion industry. Fashion. And it's big money. Housing is very big money. You see, the reason why I'm listing all this, we'll be looking at the business side of all what you have mentioned, because this is big business. Big business. In the aspirational needs, there is much more money now. The reason why I have listed them this way, each one of them has an economy behind it. And we'll be getting into that and see where the real money is. Because I want to put money in your pocket. I don't want to tell you what you need to do, but utaniuliza, coach, nakusikia na nataka, lakini I can't afford it. I will show you how to make the money so that when you make choices, you can also afford to live in that space. The next one here is safety needs and security, healthcare. For sure, we are spending so much money on healthcare. We need money, chapa, cash flow. If you don't have a way of making money in this today's life, you will die. Oh yes, you must learn how to make money, cash flow. Cash flow is king. You need assets that generate money for you, passive income. Passive income. You need a family. You cannot stay alone. We are human beings, and we even see on the other side that we need a sense of belonging. We need a community of people to work with. Social stability. And nowadays, insurance. Just surrender risks. Don't carry risks, tafadhali. We'll be looking into this in details and how to plan it, how to organize your life so that at least you do not get yourself exposed. Surrender risk which you can. We need love and belonging. Oh yes. Emotional wellness. Emotional wellness. This space is very important. Friendship, family, intimacy. But the human beings are the only animals that enjoy intimacy. You have intimate relationship for enjoyment. Other animals only come together. The male and the female only come together when the female is on heat. Na wakimaliza hiyo maneno, kuisha maneno. But we human beings, God made it that we'll enjoy each other. So you need to get the person to be intimate with. Sense of connection. You know, human beings, again, we keep our family connection. Other animals, you know, a chicken, you see what it does. After the vifaranga are big enough, it works hard on them to go out there and fend for themselves and start their own living. The same case with the eagle. By the way, it makes its nest with thorns below. After the ducks have gone to the level that they can fend for themselves, off they go. And the animals also in the wild. There's no relationship, but you see baba yake alikuwa ni nani, mama yake. We don't. But God has a way that in the jungle, they prevent inbreeding. You know what inbreeding is? So there's a way they do it. God has his own systems of the animals. Human beings, you know what to do also. You don't marry your sister or your relative because of genetics. So there's a way. Self-esteem. Self-esteem. This is confidence. You know, nowadays we are feeling very sad because most of us have lost self-confidence. I can tell you that most of the places I have been in the month of August, even places I should have been taken in as a respectable in-law, I was asked to become the MC of events because most people can't speak in public. Iko shida. We are lacking self-confidence. Wanaume mpo. Where are my boys? I am sad to say that wanaume have got a problem as in we are not doing things the way we are supposed to. So I would want us to get back to our situation where we take control of our lives and live strongly. We do things in the right way. So generally, what we are saying here is that we have more than the basic needs because today's life is different. Yes, we are talking of social needs. We are talking of the new economy, the new world order. And because of human relationship, we have got a very high need to improve our emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? How does it work? What is its role? We'll be looking at all this. These are things that are very critical, and we cannot thrive in our lives without this. This is what we call soft skills. Even if you did very well in school and you did medicine or you did engineering, you did law, you did accounting, you need these basic requirements. You cannot thrive in your life if you have not strengthened your other space in life. And this is what is causing depression. This is what is causing emotional unwellness. By the way, in Azima, we focus on 4 pillars of wellness. Wellness has got 8 pillars, but we focus on the 4 which are foundational. We have got physical health. We have got financial. Okay, from physical, then we go to mental, the mind. Because mind controls everything. How do you think is what you manifest? Thinking. Then from mental wellness, you go to financial wellness. Because again, how do I afford it? That's key. Financial wellness has become a key pillar of our lives today. Not like before when Adam and Eve were eating from the garden. Not like our grandpas who were doing barter trade. And most of the things they were using that time, they were available in the chambers. Like now you need Wi-Fi to come into this program. Wi-Fi, Sasa, how do you get Wi-Fi? You must have money to do it. So you're not going to get Wi-Fi. You're not going to get electricity. There's no way you're going to pay your energy costs without money. Or even buy the solar, to put solar in your house so that you're able to power your gadgets. There are things that you cannot do without money. And this is where we are saying that financial wellness is critical. Then you go to the emotional wellness. Emotional wellness. And it's huge. So we'll be unpacking these things to be able to get ourselves at a space where our life can continue to 120 years, as is in Genesis 6:3, in radiant health. Yes, this is my promise to you, that we'll be working together to ensure that our lives are better than what our fathers are manifesting.